Ragnarok has a lot of details to cover, from base spots, caves, resources, and tons of new features. So today I'll be going over everything that you need to know for the release of Ragnarok ASA. Alright, so starting with all of the new zones, we're going to start here in pretty much where everybody spawns in. Now this, I believe, is the jungles area. It's like jungles 1 and 2. So this is 2, that is 1 over there, I believe. And this is Blue Ob. Everybody spawns here. That's just the best spot to really spawn for new players, other than like Viking Bay, which I'll show that here in a second. So anyways, this is what to expect out of this area. There's nothing too crazy here, I'm gonna be honest. There's a couple little rivers. I mean, it's very aesthetically pleasing, but you got a cave right here, which is a pretty decent cave. Not a PvP cave though. It has this massive entrance up here. You can't really defend that, as well as this entrance and the bottom entrance. And then I believe it also has a couple other things over here. I'm not gonna go too in depth with all that. It's just a quick video showing off the area. Now up here you have these two little areas. It's like an abandoned ruins kind of little plateau, and then you also have another area right here. Not really sure what the name of this area is, but it's not a very popular area. A lot of people don't really build here, I'm just gonna be honest. Okay, so yeah, anyways, there is one artifact over here somewhere. I completely forget where that is. Not gonna go too much over that, as it's just kind of a big overview of, you know, the entire area. For some reason there's a singular cliff platform, not cliff platform, there's a singular treehouse tree thing, so you can build the tree platform on it. I'm not sure why that's there. I also have another little cave over here. This one isn't really too crazy, there's nothing really in it. Then over here, this is Viking Bay. Now Viking Bay is pretty decent for a couple things, which I'll show here in a second. But this is another pretty popular spawn zone. This is Viking Bay 1, I believe. Everybody spawns here. You're usually going to spawn under here, about right here. And then over here you have the Viking Bay cave. Now this cave is pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. It's not bad, but the water in here nerfs this thing quite a bit. I don't know if they're gonna change any of this on ASA. They might, but I don't fully know. And yeah, I mean, other than the water, this area isn't terrible. It's not a bad base location, but another PvP kind of flop of a cave, I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to build in there. Now Viking does have these cool little, like this bridge that like collapsed or something. Viking Bay spans all across over here and stops about right here. There's really nothing over here. I mean, that's about it. Another big upside is the lava golem, which can be found right over here. Yep, here's lava golem right here. I don't know the coordinates on ASA yet, so I can't give that out, but yeah, here's your entrance. It's like a maze cave, brings you into lava golem. I'll have more videos on that here soon for the people that really just don't know, you know, Ragnarok. This video is sponsored by Mitra 9. Mitra 9 is a kava and kratom seltzer company which provides an alternative to alcohol. These drinks give you a high, but without the impairment. They have a ton of great flavors, my favorite being tropical. If you're looking for a new drink to replace your coffee in the morning, Mitra is the way to go. Simply go to mitra9.com and use my code Outcasts and you will get 25% off your entire order. Now, back to the video. Now a big upside to this area is over here in the water. There is a cave right here. This is Pearl Cave. It has an insane amount of silica pearls in here. This is going to be your main farm for silica pearls. This thing is absolutely massive and it's just covered. Now, not all of the pearls are spawning in right now currently, but there's still quite a bit in here. I mean, there's still good chunks every now and then. And this cave goes on for a while. It keeps going that way and it keeps going that way for a bit too. Okay, so that's it for Viking Bay. Well, actually here, I'll show you the rest of it really quick. So Viking Bay does technically go all the way over here, but there are no spawns for Viking Bay. These are just some extra pillars. There's a hidden rat hole down under there. Not going to show that. And then you got up here. Now these are like the little canyons area right by Viking Bay. There's a castle right here. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing with that. Hopefully this gets a big revamp. I'm really hoping for that this castle just gets a lot bigger, because this castle on here for its time was really cool. Kind of sucks now, I'm not going to lie. It's just missing a lot of detail. There is an artifact cave right here, which I forget the artifact, I'm not totally sure. And then this is the plateau. Now this used to be one of the best base locations back in the day. That was before tech, before, you know, all this random crap that there is now. And you can't build out in the open anymore, so nobody really lives here anymore. But man, back in the day, whenever I used to build here, having this be your only way onto the platform, it was just an amazing spot. Then you also have this plateau over here. Good amount of people also build here, well, used to. You got another plateau as well right there. This used to be like the alpha spot on this map. I remember that. Okay, anyways, now a cool thing about this map is that this map introduces a new kind of beaver dam, which are these giant beaver dams, which I'll show you. what they offer. To access them, you have to go inside, and then you can access it from the bottom or top. This is official settings, and as you can see, I mean, 400 CP is pretty decent and a lot of wood. So far there are 2 that spawn. There's usually only about 2 or 3 that spawn at a time. And then you also have a new kind of beaver dam as well, which are these actual like beaver dams, which is pretty cool. These don't really give too. Oh wow, this one's giving quite a bit more than it should. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was 6 stacks of CP. That's pretty decent. And you have another one that spawns up here as well. So this is your main spot for just farming CP on this map. There's one more spot, I forget where it is, I'll find it in a little bit. Now, when you're coming up here, you have this little kind of like ruins area. There's nothing too crazy in here. It's just kind of just more aesthetic, no caves, nothing too wild. Now, the biggest aspect of this little canyon area is this right here. This is Triple Waterfall. Probably one of the best caves on this map. I don't know, because it has 2 entrances, and this is still pretty overpowered on this map. Just the cave damage really ruins it, makes it pretty hard to just live in. So hopefully they can revamp this cave, make it something decent. But yeah, see, here's your second entrance, which is quite a big entrance. I mean, still pretty tight right here, but it's just hard to defend, if that makes sense. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you this area. Now this is the true like canyons. These are technically known as the canyons, but this is your biggest area for just farming some pretty high level dino stuff like Spinos, lots of sharks in here, and just a lot of dinos to just kill in general. So if you're looking for like hide runs or something, definitely come down here. There's a bit of a pain though with the deep waters and trying to farm. What are you doing, bro? There's a couple like little caves, like there's this cave right here, but it's just nothing crazy. I mean, this is the only thing about this. And you have this cave over here, but this is more of like a kind of, I wouldn't really classify it as a cave. It's more of just like an opening. And then Canyons does have this bridge right here, which leads from your ice area to that area. So before I go any farther, let's cover the snow area because I almost skipped over the snow. So this is where you can fight the Ice Queen. Ice Queen is, again, an amazing boss to farm for just getting some blueprints or some really good weapons. This is the entrance right here. Pretty noticeable. This is the Ice Queen. There is some cave drops already in here that are very easy to get. You can get it right there. There's a spawn right there. Okay, so this is your main area. Ice Queen is down here. You simply come right down here. You'll find, you know, a little bear thingy, and then you've got to go that way. That's for Ice Queen. So, all right, so let's go over more of the snow area. Now, there is this kind of big open cave. Not a good spot to build, but it does have a good amount of oil, crystal. You got some dire bears in here. That's about it for that. Now, a big aspect on this map that I absolutely love is the penguin spawns. This is your main penguin area right here for just farming penguins. Are there any spawned in? I don't see any. You do have a couple oil veins right here as well, which you can use to farm oil. There's more of them all over the map, so don't worry about it if these two are claimed. Now let's go over this little area down here. There's nothing too crazy. There's some little, there's some honey stuff down here, like some honey, sorry, beehives, not honey. Technically honey, but yeah, beehives. There should be a beehive right here. It's not spawned in currently at the moment, but yeah, there's a couple beehives down here. That's about it from what I can think of. And you have all this down here, which we already kind of went over. This is just more just kind of excess areas. There's a cave right here, but this cave isn't really anything too crazy. It's hidden behind these rocks. You just mine the rocks, and then here's your cave. It's really good for some quick metal if you're looking for that. But yeah. All right, now over here, this is more of the canyons. This used to be a pretty phenomenal spot as well, but like I said, you know, ARK is not the same anymore. You can't just build out in the open. So hopefully this spot stays, really hoping, or they can build it up and make it better. Now down here, you got the little like rivers. This is your best spot for finding Therizzinos, in my honest opinion. All right, now let's go straight over here. Now this is one of the Griffin spawns, actually the main Griffin spawn, which I'll go over Griffins here in a second, if I can find one. But that's about it for the right here. Now there is another cave down here. This cave is a bit weak because it has two entrances, which is a bit of a downside. Otherwise, it would be a pretty decent cave. All right, so yeah, from about right here all the way up to here is your main Griffin spawns. But yeah, so that's a Griffin. They come out with Ragnarok if you are not familiar. They're pretty overpowered. It's like a snow owl, but on crack. And they're honestly pretty cool. I mean, snow owls do offer more abilities, I'm not gonna lie. But oh man, I just love the idea of a Griffin. It's just such a cool dino. And you're able to actually breed them now, which is big. Nothing too wild up here. It's just mainly just a bunch of snow. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, there's a cave right here. I know that. Where's it at? There it is. This cave is okay. I mean, it's nothing crazy. There's nothing really in here. It's not big enough. So, I mean, I really hope that they can just like revamp the caves on Ragnarok. I'm really hoping for that because a lot of the caves are just really weak. There's a couple that are amazing, but as ARK has gotten older with adding all this just random junk in the game, these caves are all useless now to just build in. Snow does go on for quite a while. There's another cave right here. This cave also sucks because it has 2 entrances. And there's just nowhere to build in here, which is really just a big bummer. Now, a big aspect of the ice area, like especially around here, is there's a new type of wyvern, which is the ice wyvern. Ice wyverns are pretty overpowered in PvP and for just base defense because they can slow down dinos. The ice area and snow area really does go pretty far on this map. It has a lot of range. So now let's cover another major area, which is the volcano and the first scar. There are 2 scars on this map. Well, technically 1 scar and then a Wyvern Cove. But this is the first scar. Let's do that and then I'll talk about the volcano. So you see it starts here on this little beach access and brings you all the way down. This is your first area. And then here's your second zone. All the way down here. Keeps going. Tons of wyvern eggs in here too, guys. And then stops right there. So yeah, pretty insane amount of room for the wyvern scar. Now, a really cool aspect of this map that a lot of people don't really know about. The old people that used to play ARK do know about this, but a lot of new players are not going to know this. But this volcano actually does erupt, which is pretty cool. And then these little like veins, not veins, what are these? Like these little like rivers actually turn into lava, which is a really cool aspect. I personally love that a lot. Now, a big downside is that it does shoot off some meteors. If you get hit by a meteor, it will just one-taps you. It will one-tap everything. It'll kill you. It'll kill your creature. There's nothing that you can do against it. So just, if you're flying around, just be on the lookout. Another cool aspect over here is that you do have rock golems that spawn right here as well. And they spawn here, and then they spawn in the desert. I'll show that in a bit. But yeah, this is the first map that has rock golems that spawn in an area other than the desert, which is awesome. But another cool aspect about this area is that you have mantis. Mantis are amazing for organic polymer, just like penguins, but they are way better. So that's a big upside here. I don't think there's really any caves. Wait, there is one cave that I do kind of want to show you guys. It is a pretty decent cave, but again, as ARK has kind of aged, it's just not a good cave anymore. Here's your cave right here. It's a little dark at first, but yeah, here's your area. There's a bunch of lava in here, so this cave is very hot, and if you fall off, you're dead and lose your stuff. That's your main platform right there. You don't have too much to work with, unfortunately. So, you know, hopefully ARK fixes this one, because this cave, I love that cave so much. Here's one of your spawn zones as well, because I saw a whale and I was like, oh, whale. I said whale. Okay, anyways. A cool thing about this area now, if you get a pickaxe or a axe, I'll show you this here in a second. I believe it is a pickaxe, I might forget. If you harvest these guys, they give you a lot of keratin. You get some spoiled meat, some oil, and a lot of hide. This is official rates, by the way. So if you need a lot of spoiled meat, just come to these little these little beaches, and you'll find a lot of these guys. There's about 3 or 4 of them that spawn at a time. And they're honestly pretty decent for just farming some early game stuff. Alright, so our next zone is Highlands. This is Highlands. There are more of those little whale thingies. Highlands is a pretty amazing spot. It's just very aesthetically pleasing in my honest opinion. Now there is a very cool zone right here which spawns, these charges, gigas, and very high levels as well. That's a cool aspect right by the wyvern scar, so if you have a bunch of wyverns on you and you're trying to get out, fly straight over here and just get the wyverns to just aggro on some dinos here, and then you're good. That's what I've always done. Alright, I'm going to show you the rest of Highlands really quick. There is a little mini cave right here. Forget where it is. I think it's on the right here. Yeah, here it is. Artifact did not spawn, but yeah, it's just a tiny little baby cave. It's very easy to miss that. And then you have another little kind of hidden cave over here, which I think is probably not going to be here on ASA's version, which is right here. It's just a little tiny little baby crystal cave just for some crystal. And then you have one more big cave. This is the Highlands cave. It kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. It's just really tiny, but it's pretty flat. So alright, over here is another area where your gigas and charges will spawn. Right in there you have a nice little lighthouse right there, and then another cave down here. This is the Wyvern Cave. It's pretty cool. There's no flat room in here to build on, so you have to build cliff platforms on these little pillars. And yeah, another cave that just kind of sucks, I'm gonna be honest. Alright, so up next you have your Redwoods. Redwoods does span pretty far on here, and there is a couple caves in here. I'm going to show you this first one. This is the first Redwoods cave, nothing crazy, it's just kind of like a pass-through cave. There's a lot of beaver dams over here, so if you're wanting some more CP, this is a pretty good spot to come as well. You do have your red ob right here as well. There's nothing too crazy here other than red ob. I think that's about it for Redwoods, I'm not going to lie. Like there's a couple decent spots, but there's no good caves over here. There's a good metal farming spot right there. And then that's about it for Redwoods. So now we can move on to the desert, which is pretty massive, I'm not gonna lie. So this is your first desert area. This is the detailed side of it, and then that's the plain desert. I'll show you the detailed side first. There's nothing too wild. There's a couple actually decent caves over here. This one being your first cave. There's a cave right in here, I believe. Oh, never mind, I forgot about that. Your next cave is up here in this waterfall, which this is another little crystal cave. Can't really build in here, it's too tiny. Now down in here in between these cracks, which this is a really cool feature. I love this feature of the desert with the cracks. You come right down in here. So take me a second to find. I kind of forget where it was. There's desert crack. This used to be a OP cave. It still is a pretty decent cave because your entrance is literally this tall. Now here's the rest of the cave. It's not horrible. Now this was a mess up. They didn't mean to put this spot in here, but they never patched it, and they kind of just made it a little cave location, which I like a lot because it's got the stretched terrain here. It's not supposed to be here. I'm going to come down here just to show you guys all the rest of the desert. There's a couple caves over here as well. Like there is a cave. I forget where this entrance is. Is it? Yeah. Okay, so behind these rocks right here, there is a cave, which is a pretty okay cave, but it has two entrances, so it just nerfs it again. I don't know why they keep just making all these two entrance areas. Now this area is pretty good for metal, one of the best spots on this map for farming metal, as this entire area is just a giant metal spawn, including right here. There's a cave right here, but you can't do much with it as it has two entrances. And you have a cool little temple right here. It's just more of like a PvE kind of aesthetic. Goes straight through. It's more just like a bunch of ruins. Got a little area down here for farming some obsidian. This is a decent obsidian spot. And then here is your big desert. Now this desert is pretty massive, and this is your main area for farming the desert drops and some death worms. So death worm and getting some gigas, I guess. Kind of forgot about that. So you got your death worms in here. There is pretty much always like 4 to 5 of them just roaming in the desert. Right over here, I believe. Yep, right there. There's your desert spawn right there as well. Yep, right here. There it is. It spawns right over here. Go back here and check really quick. Okay, my bad. That's the exit to the cave. This is your entrance. I got them mixed up. So this is your entrance right here. So this is your main entrance. You got some spikes right here, and then you have to figure out a pattern which will open up this floor right here. It'll drop you down, and then here's this area in the cave, and then you come back out top. I'm not going to show you too much more of that, but yeah, that's just kind of giving you a bit of an overview of that area. Let's go show you up here. This used to be a pretty great spot. It still is a decent spot, but you can't build out in the open. That used to be an amazing spot. Let's turn the gamma down, it's a little too high. Now this is another pretty good spot. This is just your Wyvern Cove area. This is Wyvern Cove. You have a lot of wyverns that'll spawn outside, and that's because there is another wyvern scar kind of thing in here. This is your entrance right here, and there is wyvern eggs that spawn all around here. Like there's usually one that spawns right there. They spawn all over the place in here. Now you do have this area as well. I don't think that there's any caves. Yeah, no, there's nothing. This is just more excess land. Cool little PvE stuff over here. Like there's a little PvE base. Alright, so now we're going to go over to the desert spawn areas. I completely forgot what zone. It's like Desert East or something. I don't know. I forget. Which is these 4 little like kind of islands right here. Now this is good for rock golems. There's nothing over here for just base spots really. I remember back in the day people used to build on here, on that one, and on that one. But yeah, that's about it for this area. Nothing crazy over here. But you have all of this open land. There's some griffins. There's a couple griffins, not too many that spawn here. But you have a lot of flat land here. Like if you're looking to fight somebody or just have like a PvP battle, this is a really cool spot to do it. There's your green ob. That's all 3 obs. And then lastly is the swamp. The swamp just has a lot of flat land. There's a lot of Sarcos. It's really easy to tame swamp dinos right here, as you have all of this open land. Here's your main swamp area. You got some swamp trees. It's pretty cool. There's also a really cool little Easter egg right here, which I will show off. Okay, I can't find it, but it's Shrek's outhouse. It's literally from the movie Shrek. It's a really cool little Easter egg. I'll probably show it in a future video, but it is a really cool thing that they added. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, so here it is. It's Shrek's outhouse from the movie Shrek. It's pretty cool. I mean, there's no like logos on it, but it is a really cool little Easter egg. But a cool little Easter egg that a lot of people do not know about, and a lot of like ARK veterans who've played for many years still don't know about. I'll show you that here in a second. There is like a house down here. It's really cool. But they added this. It's just like under the mesh. Nobody can really access it. But it's got a couple ARK players, a Direwolf, ARK modding contest. This was made by, I believe, I forget the dev who made this map. It's got some little details all around here, you know, a bed. Then you have a window which shows off a couple little baby stegos next to the mom stego, as well as some trees. But yeah, it's just a cool Easter egg that was added in. A lot of players do not know about that being in here, so yeah, just kind of spoiled that for a lot of people. But yeah, that's it for this video. I mean, I pretty much covered almost everything. I didn't cover every single cave, you know, every little tiny base spot, but that's because ASA is probably going to be changing a lot of stuff. So I just gave you a big overview of just the majority of the map, what to expect, what to see, where some cave drops are, all of your main boss fight things, like your mini boss fights. You know, we went over Griffins, we went over the death worms. That's about it though. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like if you're new, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching.